Welcome back, friends. This is James Donnelly, and welcome to the Shadow Gallery. I am your host, as always. And right now, we're going to still be talking comics, but we're also going to be talking films, well, animated films. And that animated film is last week's release of Justice League Doom. As you can see, I have the Blu-ray here. And now, Justice League Doom. It follows a story arc that was done by Mark Waid when he was still at DC. And he had taken over JLA from Grant Morrison. Grant Morrison really brought the JLA in a new direction. It was a good direction for a while, and then, of course, in traditional Grant Morrison style, it went completely batshit nuts. But what Mark Waid did, essentially, was he got the team back down to brass tacks. Back down to business. Now, this was, in that version, we had, in that tale, we had Ra's al Ghul was the enemy. And basically, to make a long story short, he had broken into Batman's computer, because he knows who Batman is, obviously, and has stolen plans, basically Batman's own contingency plans to stop the individual members of the Justice League. Now, at that time, that was, of course, Superman, Batman himself, Wonder Woman, Flash, Wally West Flash, Kyle Rayner, Green Lantern, Martian Manhunter, Plastic Man, and Aquaman. Basically what we have here in Justice League Doom is a cadre of villains, and that is, Vandal Savage. Ra's al Ghul is nowhere to be seen. So we have Vandal Savage, Mirror Master, Cheetah, Metallo, Star Sapphire, and instead of either, and it's Hal Jordan, as opposed to Kyle Rayner, it's Barry Allen as opposed to Wally West, and instead of Aquaman or Plastic Man, the kind of replacement member is Cyborg. Now, Cyborg is essentially, he's kind of utilized here as the kind of Deus Ex Machina. Because when Vandal Savage does steal the plans and puts them into motion, he has his team kind of execute, and I'm sorry, Bane. Forgot about Bane. Now, it begins similarly as far as the distraction is concerned, because they don't want Batman putting together exactly what is going on with the other members of the League. So Bane essentially, to that end, Bane sort of desecrates the graves of Thomas and Martha Wayne. Where the story goes from there is it does swerve away from Ra's al Ghul's kind of final endgame here, but it goes into something that is more appropriate for an animated setting. This is a really excellent film. I'm just going to say it right there. I would say this is, as far as my star rating system is concerned, this is leaning towards 4.5 out of 5. The animation's terrific. It's directed by, I think, Lauren Montgomery, who's done a lot of this stuff before. Lauren Montgomery also did Wonder Woman. Also did one of the two, I think she did the first of the two Superman Batman Public Enemies adaptations, which I think was awesome. It's one of my favorites of the DC Universe animated films. I missed, to be honest, I missed that there was not an additional hero short on this like the other universe movies have been doing. But we have, we've got Kevin Conroy doing the voice of Batman. We've got Tim Daly doing the voice of Superman. we've got Michael Rosenbaum doing the voice of Flash, even though it's the Barry Allen Flash and not Wally West Flash. And that was a little bit, like it didn't quite. That was just one of the things that just didn't quite make sense. Why did they even decide to go that way? You got Nathan Fillion doing the voice of Green Lantern. You got Susan Eisenberg coming back doing Wonder Woman, as she did during, both her and Carl Lumbly returned to play their respective parts, Wonder Woman and Martian Manhunter, as they had done on Justice League, and of course Justice League Unlimited. And also, I forgot to mention Malefak, who is the Martian Manhunter's enemy. So, the Blu-ray, I'm not sure about how much of this. The film, like I said, it's very well directed. The voice talent is terrific. With people like Alexis Denisov, he does the voice of Mirror Master. Olivia Diabo does the voice of Star Sapphire, even though it's weird because she has a British accent, but she doesn't do the voice of Cheetah, who does have a British accent. That I thought was kind of weird, but whatever. By and large here, the animation, I didn't notice anything that wasn't hand-drawn, like that was kind of apparent in some of the more recent releases, which I did have a problem with, that they would infuse, hand-drawn animation with some CG. But I didn't really see any of that here to any real extent. I think maybe some of the Watchtower moments might have been, some of the exteriors might have been CG, but that, it's really almost nothing. But ultimately, the changes that they made for an animated world is better, with the exception of the ending. I do prefer the ending, just the gravitas of the ending in the comic, much better than what's in the film. Now, the film itself was written by Dwayne McDuffie, who, if you have been watching me for the year plus that I've been doing, you'll see that I have a memorial for Dwayne McDuffie from when he passed away tragically the day, I think, just before All-Star Superman, which he had written, also had adapted for the animated world, was released. Now, the Blu-ray and I believe the DVD have a terrific, a really just wonderful tribute to Dwayne in something called the featurette is called A League of One, in which they talk with his friends, with his co-workers who were friends, about the formation of Milestone Media, which was basically focused on minority, more specifically kind of African American heroes, and of course the one that came out big out of that was Static. And Dwayne, of course, went on to write episodes for Justice League. He went on to write Justice League of America the comic after Brad Meltzer kind of rebooted it, if you will, after Identity Crisis a couple of years ago. And his run on that comic was actually my favorite of all of that work. And then we had, and that's just, it's a wonderful tribute. It's not terribly somber, but when it is somber, you do feel it. It does bring a tear to your eye, very, very, very easily. What a tremendous man, and a tremendous intellect, and just a real talent. And it's again, it's still very sad that he's gone, because there was so much more that he was going to go on to do, and just another guy taken far too soon. Anyway, but also as far as these, there's a commentary track which I have not listened to yet because I only watched the film once, but I will get around to someday. And there is a sneak peek at the next animated film from DC Universe, which is going to be Superman vs. the Elite, which apparently is from, I don't know exactly when this is from, but I'd never heard of it before. It looks kind of interesting. It looks like, essentially they're kind of bringing the Authority from Wildstorm, very similar characters into the DC universe, the Earth One, whatever you want to call it, and that could be interesting. But what ultimately is at work here? There's also a little thing about Cyborg and how he, belongs in the Justice League, and it really ultimately only really ties into how he's become part of this new Justice League, the post-Flashpoint Justice League. I honestly don't think that Cyborg's really that great of a character anyway, except when he's with the Teen Titans. I did dig him with the Teen Titans, but I don't buy him as a leader, really. I don't think he's just made that move up to the majors yet. Seems kind of a throwaway. But he isn't a throwaway in the film, though. So, but he is ultimately, he's kind of, like I said, kind of a Deus Ex Machina in the sense that he just kind of comes out because he's the only one, since he's not a leaguer, Batman doesn't have a contingency plan against him, so he can ultimately assist with kind of the reparation of all the harm that Batman has inadvertently caused. But the other big thing here, besides the tribute to Dwayne McDuffie, is basically guarding the Guardian. It's a piece called Guarding the Balance. It's about Batman and the Justice League, and it's basically there's a lot of talking head stuff about as to why Batman is ultimately the perfect person to be kind of the watchdog of the Justice League, because he has no powers. The only power that he has really is his mind. And, he's, a brilliant strategist, a brilliant tactician, and if someone were to ever go bad in the JLA, it's important that there is somebody who you can't really plan for contingency against Batman, because he is ultimately just a human being. I mean, the contingency is, somebody could just whack him, which they try to do in this, they do try and do. In this comic, or in this film, excuse me, and we get treated to kind of a very kind of Kill Bill Part 2-esque escape, but you can see why that actually works in the context of this film. So we get all these people, ranging from Bruce Timm to other people at DC, to psychologists. Actually talking about the Batman and about, comic books in general, and again, why Batman is kind of both the right and the wrong person to be doing this. So that is, in itself, is a pretty fascinating bit of information. It's a good extra. I do look forward to listening to the commentary track, to see kind of how. I'm sure a lot of it will be, probably about Dwayne's contribution to this, kind of their remembrance of him. And ultimately, this film is a testament to how good Dwayne was at adapting these kind of larger works into a smaller venue, but still making them work, and work very, very well. So again, 4.5 out of 5. To 4, leaning towards 4.5 out of 5 for Justice League Doom. So that's it. If this is your first time seeing one of my reviews, I do comics, I do other films, I do all sorts of stuff. Please subscribe. If you like what I have to say, please thumb it up. If you don't like what I say, go ahead and thumb it down. Please feel free to leave your comments. I'm always interested in getting feedback from all of you. If you like what I have to say and you do end up subscribing and you still like what I have to say, then hey, follow me on Twitter, Matt Donnelly 92274. I'm James Donnelly at Twitter. I'm probably the only one. If not, you can find me. My picture's there. So, so that's pretty much it. So thanks for tuning in. This is James Donnelly for the Shadow Gallery for my review of Justice League Doom, signing off. Take care. We'll see you again soon.